General Hospital spoilers tease that Wiley can't believe what he's just heard. To him, family is sacred, a safe world where his parents are always together, where things may change, but their love never fades. But now, everything is falling apart. Willow and Michael are getting a divorce, and that shatters every illusion Wiley had about a perfect family. The boy stands frozen as he hears these words from his mother, feeling as though the world around him is slowly crumbling. In his innocent mind, Wiley always believed that no matter what happened, Michael and Willow would always be together. He had seen them love each other, care for each other, and face so many challenges together, so why was everything ending this way? Wiley's emotions quickly shift from shock to confusion, then from confusion to deep fear. He doesn't understand why things have gotten to this point. Didn't Michael and Willow promise to always be a family? Didn't they say nothing would ever tear them apart? But now, the boy is faced with a harsh reality. The family he once knew is falling apart, and there's no way to stop it. Wiley looks at Willow with a confused expression. He desperately searches for some sign that this is just a misunderstanding, that his mother will change her mind, that Michael will walk into the room and say it's all just a bad dream. But Willow looks at him with a serious and sorrowful face, and in that moment, Wiley realizes this isn't a nightmare, this is the truth. A sense of insecurity begins to rise within Wiley as he realizes that this isn't just about his parents splitting up, but it's a huge change in his life. He won't wake up every morning to see both his mom and dad having breakfast with him anymore. He'll have to get used to a life with two homes, moving back and forth between them, with one of them missing at important times. And the scariest part? Someone new is about to enter his life, Drew. Wiley doesn't want a new dad. He doesn't want anyone to replace Michael. To Wiley, Michael can't be replaced. Michael is the one who's been there for him since he was little, who taught him how to play ball, who read him stories every night, who held him close whenever he was sad. Drew might be nice, but Drew isn't Michael. And the thought of his mom starting a new life with Drew only makes Wiley feel more hurt. He feels betrayed. He doesn't understand why his mom has decided to leave Michael, why she wants to change everything he's ever known. He doesn't understand why he has no say in this. His helplessness only makes him angrier. And then, his anger explodes. He looks at Willow with a hurt expression and says 6 words that could leave her stunned. I don't want a new dad. Those 6 words are simple, but they carry all the pain, anger, and desperation Wiley is feeling. He doesn't care if Drew might be a good person, he doesn't care if his mom is happy, he just knows he wants his family back the way it was, he wants everything to be the way it used to be. Willow is taken aback by Wiley's reaction. She knew her son would be upset, but she didn't expect him to oppose it so strongly. She thought Wiley was too young to fully understand what was happening, but she was wrong. He understands very well, and he's hurting more than ever. This could change everything. Willow might start questioning whether she's doing the right thing. Does she really want to move in with Drew, or is she just trying to run away from the pain of the divorce? Things are getting more complicated. Michael and Willow's broken marriage isn't just affecting them, it's also pushing Wiley into a crisis he's not ready to face. Wiley feels abandoned, swept up in an emotional storm he can't control. He doesn't know what to do to make his mom change her mind. He doesn't know what to do to bring Michael back home. But one thing is for sure, he won't easily accept Drew, he won't easily let his mom move on as if nothing ever happened. Port Charles is about to witness a big explosion in the Michael and Willow family, and the aftermath could have unforeseen consequences. Wiley can't control what's happening around him, but he won't just sit idly by and accept it, he will fight for what he believes is right, for the family he loves. Willow knows her decision will change everything, but she never expected it to create such a powerful emotional storm. Becoming Wiley's primary caregiver means she'll be the one making all decisions about his life, from where he lives, to how he's raised, to the big changes in the family. But the issue isn't just about raising Wiley, it's also about the deep emotions and wounds the boy is facing. Willow has tried to prepare Wiley, gently explaining that she and Michael will no longer live together, but the boy still can't accept this change. And when Willow announces that she'll be moving in with Drew, Wiley's opposition reaches its peak. He doesn't want a new dad, he doesn't want anyone to replace Michael. In Wiley's eyes, there's only one person who is his father, and that's Michael. No matter what Willow says, no matter how good Drew might be, Wiley can't and won't change that. The tension in the relationship between Wiley and Willow grows as the boy reacts more strongly to the changes in his life. Wiley becomes more distant from Willow, silent whenever she mentions Drew, or exploding in anger whenever anyone suggests he should accept Drew as his dad. Willow's heart breaks seeing her son in such distress. She wants to believe that time will help Wiley adjust, but deep down, she fears he'll never accept this change. As each day passes, Wiley's resistance becomes clearer, and that makes Willow start to question if she's made the right decision. Things become even more tense when Michael continues to play an important role in Wiley's life. The boy doesn't just see Michael as his father, he's placed his entire world on him. Every time Wiley sees Michael, he hopes he'll come back home, that everything will go back to the way it was. But every time Michael leaves, Wiley feels more and more disappointed and angry. As Wiley continues to resist Willow and Drew, the biggest question becomes, what can Willow do to help her son through this shock? Can she help him understand that moving in with Drew doesn't mean Michael is being replaced? Or will Wiley's opposition be strong enough to make Willow rethink her decision? If her relationship with her son continues to fracture, will Willow be able to set her love for Drew aside to preserve her bond with Wiley? Port Charles is about to witness a huge eruption in this family, and no one can predict the consequences it will bring. Wiley couldn't take it anymore. The boy felt like his world was collapsing every day, and no one was truly listening to his feelings. His parents were getting divorced, his mother was moving in with Drew, and he was being forced to accept a life he never wanted. But this time, he didn't want to stay silent, he would take action, speak up to regain some control over his life. In recent days, Wiley felt as though he was trapped between the decisions made by the adults around him. No one had asked him how he felt about Michael not living with them anymore. No one had asked if he wanted to move into a new house with Willow and Drew. Everything seemed to have been decided without his input, and that made Wiley increasingly angry, frustrated, and heartbroken. But what bothered Wiley the most was the way Willow was acting. She kept pretending everything was fine, that this was just a small change, that everything would work out, but Wiley didn't feel that way. He didn't want a new father, he didn't want anyone to replace Michael, and most importantly, he didn't want to continue living this chaotic life anymore. So, Wiley decided to speak out. He said what he thought, expressing his anger and sadness in a way that no one could ignore. But when Wiley voiced his thoughts, he inadvertently exposed secrets that Willow had been trying to hide, actions he thought were wrong, decisions his mother had made that he couldn't accept. He no longer cared what Willow thought, he just wanted to express his true feelings. But the real shock came when Wiley revealed his biggest wish. He didn't want to live with Willow and Drew. He didn't want to keep being dragged into these changes. He wanted to live with Carly. The whole room fell silent. Willow froze, unable to believe what she had just heard. She had prepared herself for Wiley's objections, for the difficulty he would have adjusting to the new circumstances, but she never thought her son would choose to leave her. Willow tried to calm herself down, trying to explain that she loved Wiley, that she was just doing what was best for him, but Wiley didn't want to listen anymore. He had made up his mind, he wanted to live with Carly, the one he felt safe with, the one he could trust. This not only hurt Willow, it also created a huge shock for Michael and Drew. Michael might feel guilty, thinking that if he hadn't divorced Willow, Wiley wouldn't be in this situation. Drew might start questioning whether he truly belonged in this family, whether his presence was making things worse. But Carly couldn't just sit back and watch anymore. She loved Wiley, but she couldn't simply adopt the boy without considering the consequences. She didn't want to hurt Willow, didn't want to be the cause of a rift in their mother-son relationship, but at the same time, she couldn't ignore Wiley's wishes. If the boy really wanted to live with her, could Carly say no? Things were becoming more complicated. Willow didn't want to lose Wiley, but she also couldn't ignore what her son was feeling. If she forced him to stay, would that make their relationship even more distant? If she agreed to let Wiley live with Carly, would she be admitting failure? Port Charles was about to witness an unprecedented family crisis, an emotional explosion that could lead everyone involved into unpredictable situations. What would Willow do when she learned that her son wanted to leave her? Would she try to keep him with her, or would she have to face the reality that Wiley was seeking stability she couldn't provide? One thing was for sure, Wiley's decision would completely change the dynamics of this custody battle, and no one could predict the consequences it would bring. Carly was no longer sitting back and watching, she was taking action, and this time, her target was Drew. Carly had always placed family above all, especially Wiley, who she considered an important part of her life. But now, she felt that Drew was threatening Wiley's stability, disrupting the boy's life in a way she couldn't accept. Carly believed Willow was making a mistake. She understood that Willow wanted a fresh start, that she needed someone by her side after her marriage to Michael fell apart. But bringing Drew into Wiley's life, forcing the boy to accept a new father he didn't want, was something Carly couldn't tolerate. So, Carly didn't wait anymore, she started planning to turn Willow against Drew. And she knew exactly how to do it. Carly didn't need to manipulate Wiley, the boy was already showing his dissatisfaction with the new circumstances. Wiley's negative reactions to Drew were completely natural, and Carly simply made sure Willow saw that more clearly. She began spending more time with Wiley, listening to what he was feeling, encouraging him to express his discomfort. When Wiley said he didn't want a new father, Carly didn't just sympathize, she helped him understand that he had every right to feel that way. Then, Carly started influencing Willow. She didn't directly say that Drew was the problem, but she made Willow question what was going on. She gently reminded her that Wiley had changed, that he wasn't as happy as he used to be, that he had started pulling away, becoming quieter, losing the innocent smile he once had. Carly didn't have to say outright that Drew's presence was the cause of all this, she let Willow figure it out for herself. And once that thought had taken root in Willow's mind, it began to grow, becoming a real concern. Willow started paying more attention to Wiley. She realized that he wasn't as excited when she mentioned Drew, that he avoided conversations about moving in with her and Drew. She noticed that Wiley wasn't himself anymore, and that scared her. Drew, of course, noticed the change in Willow. He realized that she was becoming more reserved when talking about building a new family together, that she wasn't as sure as she used to be. And he started to doubt Carly. When Drew confronted Carly, she didn't deny anything. She looked him straight in the eye and said that she would do whatever it took to protect Wiley. She didn't believe Drew could bring stability to the boy, and if he felt hurt by that, it wasn't her problem. The confrontation between Carly and Drew only made things more tense. Willow began to feel torn between the two of them, starting to feel as though she had to choose between her love for Drew and Wiley's happiness. But everything came to a head when Wiley couldn't take it anymore. One day, as Willow tried to convince the boy that living with Drew would be better for everyone, Wiley lost control. "I don't want to live with Drew," he yelled. "I want to go back to Carly." "You're not listening to me." Willow completely broke down at those words. She knew Wiley was suffering, but she didn't think it was this serious. She looked at her son, at his eyes filled with anger and hurt, and she began to wonder if she was doing the wrong thing. She loved Drew. But was her love for Drew worth sacrificing her relationship with her son? Drew, of course, felt like he was being pushed out. He didn't want to be the cause of the rift between Willow and Wiley, but he also didn't want to give up the woman he loved. Carly, on the other hand, remained completely calm. She knew she had won, that Willow now had to face a tougher decision than ever before. Willow stood at a major crossroads. She couldn't ignore what Wiley was feeling, but she couldn't ignore her feelings for Drew either. Drew began to realize that no matter what he did, he could never replace Michael in Wiley's eyes. He started to question whether his relationship with Willow could survive. Michael found himself in an awkward position when he saw his son wanting to go back to Carly. He didn't want to take Wiley away from Willow, but he also couldn't ignore how his son felt. Carly, the one behind it all, had no regrets about what she had done. She believed she had protected Wiley, done what was best for the boy. But the biggest question now was, what would Willow do? Would she continue with Drew, despite her son's objections? Or would she put Wiley above everything and give up her love for Drew? One thing was certain, poor Charles was about to witness a family battle with an outcome no one could predict.